Florida sells itself as the state where you can go anywhere. Beaches, springs, swamps, theme parks, everything feels open, but that's the illusion. Because hidden behind tree lines, fences, marshes, and military checkpoints, Florida is full of places you are absolutely not allowed to enter. And the reasons are way stranger than you think. Some are contaminated, some are collapsing, some are hiding Cold War secrets, and one still launches live missiles into the sky. Tonight, I'm showing you 7 forbidden places in Florida you can't really visit, and number 1 completely changed how I think about this state. Out in Biscayne Bay, standing alone in the middle of the water, are 7 abandoned houses on stilts, and no, you can't stay in them, you can barely even approach them. This is Stiltsville. Back in the 1930s, these houses became legendary. There were gambling parties, speakeasies, wild weekend gatherings. Basically imagine the Great Gatsby, except everybody arrives by boat and someone's definitely fighting a mosquito the size of a drone. Over time, hurricanes destroyed most of the houses. Only 7 survived. Then, the National Park Service took over, and technically, they preserved them, which mostly means nobody can repair them, nobody can live in them, nobody can really touch them. So now the government is preserving these historic buildings by slowly watching them dissolve into the Atlantic Ocean, which makes perfect sense if you've ever filled out government paperwork. You need permits even to dock nearby. Most requests get denied. So today, these strange little houses just sit there, rotting slowly above the water like haunted Florida flamingos. Now if you drive deep into Everglades National Park, past the tourist areas, past the airboats, past the alligators judging you from the water, you eventually reach one of the weirdest places in America, a Cold War nuclear missile base, hidden in the swamp. This is the HM-69 Nike Missile Base. Built during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, this place held nuclear-tipped Nike Hercules missiles designed to shoot Soviet bombers out of the sky, which means that during the Cold War, Florida tourists were taking family vacation photos a few miles away from active nuclear weapons. Very relaxing. The site had barracks, radar systems, launch pads, and underground storage bunkers still sealed today. You can tour small portions occasionally with park rangers, but the underground areas? Still off limits. And according to former reports, parts of the site may still contain contamination from missile fuel residue. The Park Service doesn't exactly advertise that part, because, come see the gators and residual chemicals, doesn't fit well on a brochure. Place 5, Dry Tortugas. The fortress that's slowly drowning. 70 miles west of Key West, in the middle of nowhere, sits one of the largest forts ever built in North America, Fort Jefferson, and almost nobody ever sees it. Because getting here is absurd. You either take a ferry for 2.5 hours, or spend several $100s on a seaplane, which means this national park is so remote, even Floridians forget it exists. The fort itself was built using 16 million bricks, 16 million, and after decades of construction, it was never fully completed, and never fired a single shot in battle. So basically, it was the world's most expensive unfinished group project. It later became famous for imprisoning Dr. Samuel Mudd, the doctor who treated John Wilkes Booth after Lincoln's assassination. And now, the ocean is slowly swallowing it. Sea level rise and erosion are threatening the entire island, which means someday this place may not become forbidden, it may simply disappear. Honestly. Florida building gigantic structures directly in the path of the ocean and acting surprised later feels very on brand for us. Place 4, Avon Park Air Force Range, Florida's secret bombing wilderness. In central Florida, hidden behind miles of fencing and warning signs, is a place where the military still tests bombs, missiles, and electronic warfare systems. This is Avon Park Air Force Range, over 100,000 acres of restricted land, and civilians caught inside can face federal prosecution, which is government language for, "Please stop climbing the fence, Noah." The range has been active since World War II. Jets fly overhead constantly, explosions happen regularly, and almost nobody gets to see what's inside. Except here's the weird twist, because humans stay out, nature moved back in. The bombing range accidentally became one of the most pristine wildlife habitats in Florida. Black bears, panthers, rare scrub habitat, endangered species. Apparently the fastest way to save nature is to convince humans there might be explosions nearby. Honestly, that strategy could work in traffic too. Place 3. Cape Canaveral's restricted zones, the places NASA doesn't show tourists. Millions of people visit Kennedy Space Center every year. You see rockets, astronaut suits, gift shops selling freeze-dried ice cream that tastes like drywall. But behind the tourist areas, there's an entirely different world. Restricted launch complexes, contaminated zones, old Apollo infrastructure sealed for decades, military patrols, and some areas you absolutely do not walk into accidentally. Parts of the base still deal with contamination from hypergolic rocket fuel so toxic it ignites on contact. Which sounds less like science and more like a supervillain origin story. One of the eeriest places is Launch Complex 34, where the Apollo 1 fire killed 3 astronauts in 1967. The memorial is public, but much of the surrounding infrastructure remains restricted. And around the edges of the Space Center, the beaches suddenly turn into military territory. You can swim, you can sunbathe, but walk too far inland past certain dunes. And armed security gets very interested in your afternoon plans. I know this because I asked a question once that was apparently too detailed. Place 2, Eglin Air Force Base, the bombing range that saved nature. This one genuinely shocked me. Eglin Air Force Base covers nearly 500,000 acres in the Florida Panhandle. It's bigger than some major cities, and every day, the military tests live ordnance there. Bombs, missiles, fighter aircraft, huge sections are permanently restricted, and because almost no civilians can enter, the ecosystem survived. Not just survived, thrived. Eglin now protects some of the largest remaining longleaf pine forests in the entire southeast. It has endangered species that disappeared almost everywhere else, including one of the world's largest populations of red-cockaded woodpeckers. And here's the truly insane part. The military employs wildlife biologists to protect endangered species on the bombing range. So somehow, the Department of Defense accidentally became one of the best conservation organizations in America. I'm serious. Bombs save the birds. That's a real sentence. And honestly, I still can't fully process it. Because this story breaks your brain a little. The most destructive technology humans ever invented ended up protecting the most fragile things we almost wiped out. Place 1, Florida itself, the state that hides things. Here's what really gets me. Florida has more restricted military land than almost any state east of the Mississippi. It has contaminated sites, endangered ecosystems, hidden Cold War infrastructure, and somehow, all those stories overlap, because Florida hides things well. The swamp hides secrets. The military came here because nobody wanted the land. Wildlife survived because humans stayed out. And contamination lingers because the water table is basically 6 inches below your feet at all times. The forbidden places aren't just weird side stories, they explain Florida itself. Bombs protecting birds, missiles buried in swamps, a fortress drowning in the sea, a nuclear bunker hidden beside alligators. This state feels like America's subconscious, beautiful, chaotic, dangerous, and deeply strange once you get past the tourist brochure. If you made it this far, you're officially one of my people now, because the deeper I dig into Florida, the weirder it gets. And honestly, I don't think we've even scratched the surface yet. I'm working on a deeper investigation into Eglin right now, and I found something in the public records that almost nobody talks about. So subscribe if you want to see what's really behind the fence, and let me know in the comments, which forbidden place surprised you the most? Because personally, I'm still stuck on the fact that Florida accidentally created a wildlife paradise by bombing it every day. See you next time.